Good afternoon, Suburban readers, Suburban viewers. Beryl Wiseman, editor-in-chief of the paper. My great pleasure, even on this sad day, to be here with Ambassador Amb.Paul, one of the finest Israeli diplomats and a great servant, not only to the state of Israel, but the Montreal community. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're just awaiting the start of the community vigil for the two Israeli diplomats so brutally killed in Washington, D.C. last night. Ambassador Hirschson, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
What message do you have for Montreal today?
So today for the foreign ministry, for the Israeli foreign ministry, was a terrible day. Last night was a terrible night. For over 20 years, we haven't lost anybody, and we lost two people the same night, Yuval and Sarah, two members of the embassy team in Washington, D.C., murdered by terrorists. The message I've got for the community and for Montreal at large is this: first of all, be aware, be on guard, watch, see what's going on around you, and secondly, we're on the right side of history. We're going to win this one. We lower our head in mourning and in sadness today, but we hold our heads up high in pride at the fact that we know we're on the right side of history, and we know that we're the correct people in this fight.
We always like to say, our religious leaders always like to say, out of every evil thing, out of every bad event, comes some good. Will this possibly wake up North American leaders and some Western leaders who have been allowing the illiberal license of language of hate in our streets to perhaps wake up and start enforcing some of our laws? What is the feeling?
I can only say that I hope so. I've had conversations on the municipal level, on the provincial level, on the federal level with many elected officials here. I've begged people to speak out on the issue of hate speech, not necessarily to support Israel, but to make a clear line in the sand between putting out your argument for or against one or another side and hate speech. I don't think that that has been done, and I can only hope that this will make the difference. I don't know that Yuval and Sarah had to die in order to convince leadership across various different places in North America that they should be standing up more against hate speech. Words have meaning, and meaning has consequences. And people who have thrown out blood libels, falsities about Israel, which are then amplified in many ways, either on social media or in the traditional media. These people have a responsibility for the behavior of a terrorist in Washington, D.C. yesterday, because they're throwing out falsities about Israel or not speaking out against hate speech is what leads these people to think that it's okay to shoot at Jews in the streets of North America.
Have you been receiving a lot of calls from Montreal or Quebec officials today?
Calls, WhatsApps, SMS, emails, from a number of people. I don't know that lots is the correct word. I don't know how to measure what lots is, because of course it's such an extreme. We've heard publicly and privately. I think there are people who haven't yet spoken out, who we would like to hear their voices. I know that Washington, D.C. is far away. It's also just down the road.
An hour and a half flight.
Yeah.
There are people who have said on the blood libel that these accusations were so false, particularly the business of 14,000 children, that the UN itself walked back. I've gotten calls saying, why has it not been disseminated in a broader fashion? Is this something that the state of Israel has to look at in terms of its own mechanisms of disseminating information through the foreign ministry of Hasbara?
Mm-hmm. Yes, always. We've got a lot to improve. I can tell you that, for example, in the Arabic language, there is nobody who has a bigger digital footprint than the Israeli Foreign Ministry. So you don't necessarily see that because we follow in English and French. But we've had not millions, not tens of millions, hundreds of millions of engagements. We're in the last, and more than that, in Arabic, in I don't know what period of time exactly I should measure it from, but it's enormous. We're out there in English, in French, in other languages as well. Obviously, we've got a long way to go to improve and to better put our messages out there. People know. You mustn't make a mistake between us getting our message out there and the haters telling lies.
Clearly.
They are aware of the fact. Look, exactly the example you gave, okay? So what actually happened was that somebody in the United Nations said that there is a possibility that 14,000 children will suffer malnutrition within a year. And then that was misquoted, to be polite, as not 14,000 children, who could be 17 years old, but 14,000 babies will starve, not malnutrition, in 24 hours, not an hour. It's not a matter of whether or not we get our message out. These people lie knowingly.
There is something that we can all do. I asked the ambassador this question because I put in a post on this issue with 40,000 impressions on LinkedIn, and I got responses from 20 cities on 4 continents. We're all there on those front lines, and it doesn't matter your background. The importance of getting truth across for the free world is incumbent on everybody. Ambassador Hirschson, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
To all of you, the vigil is outside of Westland Square at 5:30. We hope to see many of you there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.